You guys, I got stitched. Does that mean I've finally made it as a creator?
What do you know about the connection between red meat and heart disease?
I could ask you the same thing. I'm guessing not much.
Okay, let's talk about it because there's actually really good evidence here and I want to walk through it.
It sustains the environment if done right.
So the claim is basically this: regenerative beef is good for the planet because it sequesters carbon in the soil, and therefore we can keep eating beef at the rate we currently do and actually help the climate while we do it. It's a really appealing story, but as always, we must look at the evidence. So we need to make an assumption. Let's hold current American beef consumption steady. The most cited regenerative beef paper in the literature is by Roundtree and colleagues, published in 2020. It looked at a specific farm, White Oak Pastures, which is generally one of the best managed regenerative farms in the country from everything that I've seen. They found that they got real soil carbon gains, and I'm not disputing that. But the same paper found that producing that beef required roughly 2.5 times more land than conventional production for the same output. So if you were to scale that up, what would that actually mean for the planet? A paper by Hayek and Garrett modeled what happens if the US shifts entirely to grass-fed beef at the current rate of consumption. You'd need 30% larger national cattle herd because grass-fed cattle grow slower and finish at lower weights, around 281 days, to reach a smaller slaughter weight versus 223 days on grain. So more land, more cattle, more methane, more time. And what about that White Oak paper? A couple of things that are worth flagging. So number one, the soil carbon sequestration is assumed to continue linearly for 20 years. Soils don't actually work like that. They saturate. Now, I'm just a physician and I've read about this stuff from actual climate scientists. And number two, a lot of that carbon that is sequestered on the farm is credited to the cattle, but it's partly coming from imported chicken and pig feed that's grown somewhere else. So that carbon actually has a footprint that doesn't show up on the ledger. Now, let's zoom out. A paper published in Science in 2018 by Poor and Nemesic is the largest food systems meta-analysis that has ever been done. They looked at around 38,000 farms across every metric: emissions, land use, water use. Plant proteins came out dramatically lower than beef, even the lowest impact beef. Burke and colleagues in 2023 pooled 23 studies on actual dietary patterns. A vegan diet came in at 40% of the emissions of a high protein animal-based diet.
You get more empty calories, less protein, less bioavailable protein, less nutrients, less bioavailable nutrients, and some anti-nutrients.
And then there's your body. Glenn and colleagues, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2024, followed over 200,000 people across 3 cohorts for up to 30 years. For every 3% of your daily calories you shifted from animal protein to plant protein, that's swapping beef for lentils, beans, and tofu, cardiovascular disease risk dropped by 18%. Coronary artery disease risk dropped 24%. So I'm going to stand by what I said in that clip. I'm sorry that it didn't include the references the first time around. And if ever you want that, you can go to my website, drquest.com, where there's a full blog and goes through all of the references, or you can just watch the whole show, which is available in other formats. But the summary is this: that regenerative beef, scaled to current American consumption, requires massively more land, not less. Plant proteins beat beef on emissions, land, and water, every way we measure it. And swapping some beef for beans, lentils, and tofu lowers your cardiovascular disease risk. No misinformation, just evidence.